There it is. Which was in February of this year. And so that campaign, right, culminated in him saying, and this is why I was laughing, oh, there's no daughter. It's all bullshit. It's a game. It's a game to him, you know? Right? And so this is my point, right? When I say, oh, okay, he's been, like, there's only one goal here, right? To get me to blow my brains out. Right? He didn't do all this for me to be able to just walk around in the world and talk about it. Right? Right? That's right, such hubris. Right? And I see it from his perspective, like, oh, this guy doesn't know. Right? He doesn't know what's occurring. I'll overwhelm his mind and then he'll blow his brains out and then I get his scene for free. Right? And if he says anything, right, he'll seem insane. Right? Really, really ugly. Right? Really ugly. Right? And in his mind, he saw me as attacking him. Right? I don't have cunning. I have no cunning. Right? That's his problem. That's where he misread me. Right? That if he, right, it was always right there. It was all right there. I'm a fucking bull in a china shop. You know, I'm a nice guy. I'm a well-meaning guy, right? Like I don't want to be somewhere where I'm not wanted, and that's a big part of my decision making as well at Tribeca. Right? That I didn't write him a letter every week. I didn't do that. I wrote him 4 letters, and that's it. Right? And then he jumped in my mind, and I wrote him 6 more. Right? And then when he stopped accepting my mail, I stopped writing. Right? But I wrote my 7,000-word essay, right? Which is the primary reason that he canceled that film, right? He doesn't want the critical establishment talking about how he appropriated Brad Pitt's spousal abuse as the plot for Cliff Booth. It's so obvious, right? It's obvious. It's the same story, right? And I know that Angelina Jolie signed NDAs, so, you know, I mean, I don't know, but right? Somebody ask her. Just anybody ask her. Anybody ask Quentin, right? It's obvious. It's fucking obvious, right? And so I the more I think about it, I guess it was Quentin saying, oh, we need to campaign, right, to cast the spell complete, right? Why they wouldn't campaign for Rick Dalton, it was beyond me, right? God, I'm damn sure, like, I'm not interested in, oh, well, you turned over a leaf. Like, if it had been a different role, right? Like, yeah, sure, it's a good role. Like, it's a beautiful film. That's my favorite of his films, too. Right? But we don't give people trophies for beating up their women. No, that's not. That type of Hollywood's in prison with Harvey Weinstein. Right? If we're talking about the pages, I have to say I enjoy them a lot. I think that those last few pages are really powerful. Right? And so, right? Right? This is why, right? This is why, right? He escalated it. Right? Right? And hopefully it's just trauma. You know, hopefully it's just psychological torture, right? But everything with the hypodermic needles, right, that he did while Fish was playing in Seattle, right? But that's, right? Again, he stole it from me, right? Because he understands nothing, right? He's a child. He's a spoiled brat, right? Son, savage novel, right? And I was laughing, you know, it's like all this, I was laughing about the Tesla, and, you know, it's all bullshit. Like every time I said anything, they were like, oh my God, you're so like, oh wow, your clairvoyance is, right? Right? Only to inevitably say, I don't have a daughter. And you had to tell me 2 or 3 times. Right? Why, you know, and I don't understand, like why, right? Like, what did you think was going to occur, right? When I started, there's the board, right? When I started wielding all of these, right? Like, this is how space is structured, right? That you use these, right? In your clairvoyant mind's eye, right? Right? So, I don't really know what else to say, right? Oh gosh, what an imagination, right? Like if we reconcile, right, and he sanctions the novel, and he might, right? He'll give me a big old hug and say, "Wow, man, I can't believe you came up with all that, right? I hated you so much, but when I saw that novel, I said, oh wow, we have to come together, right?" So my point is that he needs to put his daughter in front of me, right, because of the curse that I threw out there, right? And it's just like I said, I'm gonna teach her how to make a circle, right? But it has to be me, right? Can't be anybody else, right? That this is. Pray for me, pray for Quentin. Moving forward, because I have 2 more essays that I have to write for the novel on language and on geometry, right? I have several books, like this book that's right here is about geometry, order, and space. And so we're going to go through spherical models, and we're going to put together every model that's in the book. Right? And so we're still going to talk about the nature of reality, right? We're still going to talk about my relationship with Quentin, right? We're still going to talk about the movie Critic. We're going to talk about show business. You know what's something else I want to talk about? Daniel Day-Lewis has a new movie that he's in, Anemone. And it looks good. It's got like a Robert Eggers kind of flair, right? That's directed and written by his son. He and his son wrote it, and then his son's directing it, right? Right? Why do you think Daniel Day-Lewis quit acting? Right? I'll tell you. I'm speculating, but so, in 2016, Fiona Apple wrote a scathing article, expose, about PTA, and Quentin was in it as well. Right? So, I was living in New York in 23, and I saw an interview with Fiona Apple. It wasn't like formal. She was like on Zoom. Right? It was like a podcaster or something. Right? And so she's always said that PTA was an abusive partner, that he, et cetera, right? Right? But she told this story about how one night, right, she was sick with food poisoning in the bathroom, and PTA was on the other side. She never used him by name, but it was obvious. It was on the other side of the door, right? Unless she has another abusive boyfriend, right? Full disclosure. So, I think is that when she published that expose, right, Paul Thomas Anderson wrote Fandom Thread with that same story reversed, where it's the guy who's sick with food poisoning, right? As a fuck you. And somewhere along the way, while they were making the film, Daniel Day-Lewis said, no, this is, I'm indulging a guy in some way. I'm indulging him in his sick fantasies in some way. Right? And that's why he retired. Right? Do I know? Do I not know? Of course, I'll let someone else ask him. But it makes fucking sense to me, tell you what. And why did he come back? Right? Because his son is the director. Right? Maybe that's not why, but that's a big reason. That's one of the reasons why, 100%. Because he knew, oh, okay, I could trust my boy. Right? So, let me know what you think about the pages. I know they're wild. They're wild. But this is the game. that I could have, right? I could have just let him continue to torture me, right? That's one thing, right? I could have done that. I could have just went, oh gosh, I'm so sad, gosh, I thought me and this girl were in love. I thought we had this cool magical relationship. Oh, boo! And I did that a couple times, for sure. Right? But on New Year's Eve, I said, no, it's time for me to see what the truth of it all is. Right? And so that's why we ended up getting here, right? That after I saw New Year's Eve, and it was all bullshit. I don't know what that girl did, right? But I saw that it's a game to them. That's like what, and so this is God like showing me like, no, you need to just open the valve up all the way, right? Baphomet, right? And that's what led to where we are now, right? So if he was cool, right? Right? And didn't want to traumatize me continuously, right? Then I would still be sorting trash now, and we would be moving forward with the lawsuit in a meaningful way, right? But this has never been about money, right? That if he was cool, I never needed to sue him, right? This is what I said yesterday. So, right? The two of us, right, hover over each other as psychic phantoms forever, right? That he has people that observe me, right, with their mind every day because he cannot afford to give me the freedom to conspire against his life like he has conspired against mine, right? That's, right? It's illogical for him to not watch me. And so that's why we're talking about it, right? That Quentin Tarantino has done a great evil on me, right? And tried to kill me and has bruised my psyche palpably forever. And there's nothing that I can do about that because if I can do the same things, right? It's not like, right, he got them from me, right? But he'll murder me. He will. He's a pussy, right? So, right? Somebody else wants to do it. A plea to the Pope. It's all there. I don't sanction that at all. But, right? I'd like to hope that the worst of it is over, right? That he got his jollies, that he got what he wanted out of it. So, I guess I'm going to sing the song. Pray for me, pray for Quentin, 9601 Wilshire. If you wanted to write Mike Simpson, William Morris Endeavor, right? 1822 North Vermont Avenue, Vintage Cinemas, right? Right. Pray for me, pray for Quentin, pray to bring this to an amicable resolution, right? Everyone around us are the people who suffer, Like he and I were obviously, right? We have a legendary connection, right? And we're obviously very powerful clairvoyants, both of us, right? That the two of us can just hold the other one right there and do whatever needs to be done in our lives, right? But, right, everyone else, it's collateral damage,